Hey everyone, Coomber Radio, episode number 291. So today, no one else, just me, solo show. It has been a while since I've done one of these shows, and I need to ask you to be a little bit patient with me, because I actually don't know how this show is going to pan out, because I'm going to go over some stuff that is quite painful for me. A lot has happened that a huge amount of people do not know about in 2017, and I've written a load of notes here. I've spent some time this morning thinking about what I want to say on this podcast, and I'll be honest, I don't know how coherently it's going to come out. I don't know how I'm going to be able to really contextualize everything that I feel has happened, and hopefully give you something from this podcast that you can take away and go, do you know what? I can see what Ben's been through. I'm going to learn from this. This is how I'm going to take action from myself. Now, I've coined the title of this podcast, The Hardest Year of My Life. And I believe it has been the hardest year of my life to date in my life. So 31, it's the end of 2017. We're going into 2018. And on January the 3rd, I think it was, 2017, I got a phone call. I got a phone call from one of my team members, and that person said, "Ben, I'm gonna leave your business. I think I'm gonna leave working as part of your team." And I was like, "Wow." Now, this individual is amazing to me, is a rock to me, is, you know, someone that I feel I couldn't be without, is an incredible person. And for someone to ring up at the beginning of a year after a great time of reflection and, you know, positivity, to ring up and have that conversation was like, wow. And on the same day as well, I happened to look at my bank balance, and I looked at my bank balance, my business bank balance, and it was like, it was zero. And I thought that was odd, because I thought there was a lot more in the bank account. I thought we had a lot more reserves, which we need to have in our business, because I have 5 full-time staff. I have some part-time staff. Like, you know, there's a certain amount in my business that costs every month without fail. So that was a real alarm. So I put in a phone call and I said, "We've got no money in our bank. Like, what's going on?" And this individual said, "Do you know what? I don't know how to say this. I've been meaning to ring you, but things are not looking good. I've had a look at the numbers, and I reckon by the end of February we'll be bankrupt." And I just sat there and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, how did this even happen? How did we get to this point where my most valued team member says, "Oh, I don't want to work with you anymore," and we've got no money in the bank? And that started what has been a very, very difficult year. And I've debated long and hard, if I'm honest, whether to do this podcast at all. I could not talk about it. No one's seen it, likely, so I can hide it. But the whole premise of what I do, the work that I do, is to try and inspire and help other people. That's it. You know, I got into the fitness industry as a fitter, obese man. I was still, you know, very much an obese man inside. But my journey from going to obese to slim, and then from slim to strong and empowered, that was what got me to do this podcast, to do coaching, to help other people. All of this came from my struggle and all the things that I've learned. And this podcast's aim over all of the years is just to help people along. And, you know, it's been incredible, the amount of messages that I've got from people that have said, you know, you've changed my life. I was reading a tweet that someone sent me over the Christmas period, have said, you know, he just said, you know, "Ben, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for, you know, I came to your seminar, it opened my eyes up. I then bought that book, and then I've done the Foundation Academy, and, you know, you put it short, changed my life." And that's why I've done this. So that's why I'm now doing this podcast, because I've been raw and I've been vulnerable all throughout the journey, and I'm probably not going to get any more vulnerable than this podcast, apart from the time that I sort of talked about when I was going through counselling and, I was going through all this stuff that I felt about my dad and my environment, and how that had shaped me as a person, and how I wanted to move on from that, and how I had essentially moved on to that to a degree, which was further kind of expanded upon by going to the Tony Robbins event, which I've spoke about on previous podcasts. If you haven't listened to that, look that up. So back to January 2017, where I got 2 phone calls, both really, really painful phone calls to get. And, from that point forward, I've been in, or had been in reaction mode. I, was staring down the barrel of a gun financially. I potentially was going to lose my most valued person in my business, and that set off a cascade of events where I had to be everything and anything in my business for a long time. And to get to the 20th of every month and your accountant to say, oh, you need another 10, you need another 15, you need another 20 grand to stay afloat, is not a comfortable or nice position to be in. And the reason why I'm doing this podcast is because it has taught me a lot, and it's taken me a while, to actually learn all the stuff that I feel I've got from this experience. And I don't fully think I've learned everything from it yet. I think things will still start to come together. I think going away to the Tony Robbins event helped me realise and contextualise a lot of stuff. I think the Christmas break has helped me realise and contextualise a lot of stuff. And I think actually the one thing I'm most grateful for right now in this whole experience is the strength that is actually given me and my partner Lizzie. We have grown immensely as people. Lizzie never really had a massive involvement in my work. Don't get me wrong, she supported me, she was there for me, she understood my work to a degree. But going through this process was extremely painful for both of us. There was a lot of tears, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of uncertainty, and I had to involve Lizzie in this year of my life a lot more, because, being in a position of not knowing whether you can pay your mortgage is a tough position to be in. You can't go through it on your own. You've got to go through it with your partner. Like, she lives under the same roof with me. We have a mortgage, we have outgoings. So I think the thing I'm most grateful for right now is the strength that we've now got as a couple, to be able to talk to each other about anything and everything, to understand what money means to us and what we need to live, and how it actually plays a role in our life. Now, the reasons I have had so much difficulty from January and why we got in the position of being bankrupt is being fearful, being naive, being scared. And the naive and scared and fear is actually something that I didn't learn about myself until I went to that Tony Robbins event, and I got really reflective, because What happened in 2016 is that I brought people into my business to help the business grow, to help do the good work that we try and do. And I actually, upon reflection, brought these people into my business out of fear that I didn't know how to do it myself. And what I've done up until that point, so up until mid-2016, I've always trusted myself 100%. I've backed myself in that even if I don't know how to do something, I'll go and find out how to do it. I'll go and teach myself how to do it. If one day I woke up and I decided, right, I'm going to go to the moon, like, I'm going to find out a way to get to the moon. If I think I'm going to do it myself, then I need to, learn astrophysics. I don't know. I will go and find a way. And there was a point in time that I think I'd partly fallen out of love with some of the stuff that I was doing, and partly didn't know how to do it. So I think, well, I'll solve these two problems, and we've got the money available to do it. We'll bring someone into the business and we'll get them to fill that gap of stuff that I don't want to do, or felt I didn't want to do because I didn't see the true purpose behind it. And I'll also bring this knowledge in where I feel I don't have it, which is potentially growing areas of the business. And because I came from a place of scarcity and fear and literally just not wanting to shoulder the work, I didn't bring the right person into the business. And bringing that incorrect person into the business meant that decisions were going to be made which were not true to the core values of what it is I'm trying to do and what we try and do with the businesses that we run. And over time that became a poison, and it became a poison to the point that my most valued team member turned around to me and said, I don't want to be here anymore. And at that point you've got to stand back and go, well, hang on a second, you created this environment, buddy. You brought the people in, you gave them the space to make those kind of decisions, you gave them the authority and the autonomy. You've now got to fix this. And don't get me wrong, I went into the fastest fix shit quickly mode you've ever seen because I had to. And it probably took up until about September to really fully get kind of head above water again. So it took about 9 months to regain the financial stability that we had. And it was made even more painful in that throughout 2016, we had tried to make a lot of improvements and investments in our business so that 2017 was going to be a year of growth and that we were going to move on, because every business, every individual goes through a period where you sit back, you take stock, you invest time and money into developing something, and then you look to go and express it and grow it and tell the world about it. And we'd done that in 2016, but a lot of the decisions that we'd made, the money that we'd spent, had been incorrect. And I took a massive risk setting up Awesome Supplements. And I know I've had conversations with people before where, and I remember having an argument with a guy online that said, oh, Ben, you've sold out starting a supplement company. And I was like, let's have a chat about this because this is an interesting topic. And I was talking to this guy on Facebook and I said, look, have you ever run a business of this nature? Do you feel that the brand that I've set up, which is Awesome Supplements, do you feel that ethically they are doing it for the wrong reasons? Do you feel that we're, just trying to make money? Do you feel that we're just trying to capitalize on something? And the guy sort of stood back and he was like, well, no, not really. I actually really like what Awesome Supplements is about. I really like the ethics and what you're trying to do. I don't like the taste of one or two of the products. And I was like, yeah, cool, that's fine. Tell me which ones, because I want all of them to taste amazing, and I'll go away and do my due diligence. And he actually said he didn't like the electrolytes and carbs taste and the chocolate whey protein. So we went away and we made it better, and that was my commitment to him and his feedback and his comments. But I asked him that question, have you ever run a business like this? And he was like, no, I haven't. And I was like, well, I don't want to sound all sort of, oh, whoa, look at me, or Billy Big Balls, but being in a product-based business is extremely tough. And the reason why it was even tougher is because I've always come from a background of a service-based business. So I've always been a coach. So a coach, someone, pays you for an hour or a packaged product, and then you deliver that product, and then that's the service, given. And quite often you've got quite low overheads. Your overheads are predominantly your time. But in a product-based business, you're not afforded those luxuries. Now, don't get me wrong, a product-based business is able to scale bigger because, you're just reselling a hard product that can sit on a shelf for a period of time. Whereas a service-based business is only so much of your time. So don't get me wrong, both businesses have got pros and cons. But what Awesome Supplements, really taught me, and I went really big and really hard. I mean, you look at so many brands in the fitness space that they bring out a great product, they get some success with that product, they get some market traction, and then they bring out another product, and then they do the same, and then they bring out another product, and then they've got quite a lot of momentum, and they keep bringing out products. And I just felt that with what I'd created, my opinion around fitness and health and supplements. I felt that I couldn't do that. I felt that I needed to bring an offering to people that really serviced the needs of most individuals when it came to supplementation. And that was the decision I made, and I went quite big, quite hard with Awesome Supplements. So if you can imagine having, 10 products sat in a warehouse, and your manufacturer says to you, oh, you've got to order a minimum of 300. Now that might not seem a lot, but what if each 300 of those products costs £10 per product, and you order 300, which is £3,000, and then you've got 10 of those lines. So that's already £30,000. So you've got to stump up all that money, and then it's got to sit in a warehouse, and you've got to just, obviously sell the product. And then two might sell better than others. And to improve your margin, you want to be trying to order more. So next time you're ordering more, but only of 2 products. So then you use a lot of your profit. And then you come to a bit of a bottleneck because you haven't got the income to maybe order a product that's just gone out of stock. And, lo and behold, product-based businesses, depending on, what your market traction is, what kind of service it provides, or what kind of gap it fills for people, it can be a really tough business. And I have invested a colossal and huge amount of money in Awesome Supplements, and it's taken us nearly 20 months to be at a point where we're now break even. So as a business, it's taken us 20 months of, a lot of hardship to just break even. And that's also with having another business that props it up, another business that is more profitable and props it up. And you put on top of that the decisions that I made to grow a business that could service and help a huge amount of people. So that means that a business of that nature has to have a certain amount of infrastructure. Like it's not just me sitting behind a microphone today. There'll be someone that edits this show. There'll be someone that helps me with the marketing. There's people that help me with, organization of stuff. There's an infrastructure in my business that has to have a certain amount of people involved in that. So what happened with, throughout this whole year is that, I couldn't just sit there and say, right, we'll get rid of this, and this. You basically get rid of all the things that are costing you money. I couldn't do that because I'd already created a machine that was providing a service to a huge amount of people. We've got students learning our courses. We've got people that wanted our products. I've got, staff wage bill. And the reason I talk about this, I'm not making excuses in any way. I'm trying to paint a picture of what happens in the development of someone's business, in someone's mission. And, every episode I've done of this podcast, I've tried to be as honest as humanly possible with you. So giving you an insight into this side of my life, for me, is the thing that I have to do. So 2017 was tough. 2017, at the beginning of it, I had to make a huge amount of decisions. We had to get rid of a handful of people. We had to try and get rid of as much cost as possible that we didn't need. And the thing that really kind of suffered and got to me over time is that this whole process beat a lot of the passion out of me. And that was a really hard thing to take to, and I remember going through about a 2-month period where for the first time in my life, I'd struggled to get out of bed. And I struggled to get out of bed from a want perspective, knowing that if I get out of bed today, I've got to face the world. The world's going to look at me and I'm not going to like what is looking back. I've got to deal with stuff that I don't want to deal with. I know today is going to be a bore, is going to be a grind. I've got to look at numbers, I've got to do tons of emails, I've got to do stuff that I'm not really good at. And I got to a place where, the numbers were looking better in our business. And don't get me wrong, the first sort of 8 months of the year, I had to do what I had to do to save my business. I remember there was a point in time where my accountant said, you need 22 grand in your business in the next 20 days. And I was like, wow, shit, how do I do that? But I found a way to make it happen, and don't get me wrong, that was just an amount of money to just pay the staff wages to just keep the business afloat. But what it does show you is the action and the things that people can do when the pressure's put on them. Think about the last time that you had something really screwed up happening in your life, and life just said to you, you have to do this. You have to. You're staring down the barrel of a gun. And what did you do? Did you react and do it and come around successful? Or did you crumble? And a lot of people come around successful. But the thing is they don't keep up that momentum. They get themselves out of the hard spot, and then they take their foot off the gas and they're like, okay, lovely, things are comfortable again. And I did that. I got to September, October, and I was like, God, the last 9 months or so has been really tough. It's been really painful. I'm going to take my foot off the gas. And I did. I took an easier 2 months. I didn't work as hard as I'd had done, and I don't know if I should have done that. Upon reflection, I don't know if I should have given myself a bit of slack and chilled out, or I don't know if I should have repurposed my passion and that energy and kept applying it into other things and grew even more. And I have to live with that. I have to live with that potential of regret, because I've got to the end of the year. And we've just kind of like cruised into the end of the year, and I have to ask myself, am I happy with that? Now, whether I'm happy with that or not, I am sitting here now saying, this is what I'm going to do for 2018. This is what I'm going to change. This is how it's not going to happen again. And actually, I'm really thankful for all the pain, the anguish, and the hardship that I've been through in 2018, because, imagine if I've got a business with 15 people, and going through all of this with 15 people look at you going, oh, by the way, you pay my wages, please don't let anything bad happen. Imagine if there was even more money that could be lost. For me having to go through all this pain now, to go through this pain with my girlfriend, with my staff, with the people around me, I'm thankful for it, because I feel that I can continue on now, and I genuinely feel I can handle 99.9% of what life is going to throw out at me, because I feel like I've already been to quite a low place in my business with kind of losing elements of my passion. And that's why the podcast that I did about the Tony Robbins event was, again, life transformative for me, is because I was at a point in my life as well where I really needed it. I really needed to be in an environment where so many people were going to share their love and passion with me, and I was going to get filled up to the brim and leave with that, because I hadn't had it for so long. And every time I'd been out and about within the industry, I wasn't getting help from other people. I wasn't, reliving or getting that energy, because a lot of the time I was going out into the industry as the person that people were coming to see. People were taking more of my energy. So maybe that's a mistake on my part in 2017 as not doing enough on the road education myself, not going to enough seminars where I sit in the audience and I learn. And I think going to the Tony Robbins event made me sit back and actually give my soul something it needed. And I made a commitment to myself to do at least 4 of those events in 2018 and beyond, because I need that time for reflection and energy, just like I need you guys to come to my seminars and learn, and go to other people's seminars and learn, and to do other people's courses to learn, because we need that constant little kind of boost of energy, boost of inspiration, boost of knowledge. Like, it doesn't just happen by accident. You need to keep putting yourselves in these environments. So I wasn't putting myself in these environments. And what was tougher is that I was going out on the road and I was facing again a lot of negativity. So in 2017, it was also a year where I had probably the most online attacks that I've ever had. Like, other people, pointing a finger at my work and things that I've said, and just generally discrediting, the work that I tried to do. And 99% of the time, I'm pretty resilient to that stuff. I know why people do it, that they come from a place of fear and scarcity and hatred and jealousy. But because I was in a lower place of energy, because my day-to-day environment wasn't supporting my internal power, because I was already weak, I was already on my knees, this stuff was affecting me even more. And this, I got into a bit of a spiral with it in looking at this stuff, and then coming back to my day job and my day-to-day work environment, and it not being any better. And you can see how this can start to put someone into a bit of a depressive spiral. And I definitely experienced that, but I knew that everything that I was experiencing was temporary. I knew that it wouldn't last. I knew that I could get out of it. And Tony Robbins talks about this a lot, and I love it. He says, what needs to happen in any period where things are essentially not going the way you want it is you basically need to have an intervention. You need to have a change of energy. And that was what the Tony Robbins event was for me. It put me in a room where Tony Robbins went, stop. Let's take stock of everything that you're feeling right now. Let's look at all the pain. Let's look at all the hatred. Let's contextualize it. Let's be at one with it. Then let's put it in a box. Let's learn what we need to do to control what's in that box and bring about the best solutions. And now let's create a plan for the future. Let's know how to grow. Let's know how to learn. Let's how to put yourself back in a position of power. And that was absolutely invaluable for me. It's what I needed at that point in my life, and I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for Jessica Beardsall, who put me onto the event, who got me to the event, who helped me, because it was a very transformative event, and it was exactly what I needed at a point in my life where I wasn't at my strongest, and I'll fully admit that. And it's been amazing since then to get to a place of strength. Now, the business is still very much on a break-even level. Things are not great. They're not perfect. There's still a lot of pressure on the business, but I've created a lot of things in the background that can now take us to the next level. Like, I've invested in myself a lot over the last couple of months. I've invested an awful lot financially and time-wise, and so has my team, in the business that we have. Like, we now have the new Body Type Nutrition Foundation Academy, which is a product that we can now sell at any point, at any time, globally, and help people with their nutrition. And it's a product that now stands head and shoulders above everyone else's, because the investment and the time that we've put into it. There's incredible products that we have now, like Fat Loss for Life, which I'm restarting in January, which is going to help transform an amazing amount of lives in a totally transformative and different way. We've got awesome vegan protein, which we can't keep on the shelves because, again, we've gone to massive lengths to perfect what we feel a vegan protein should bring to the market, and it shouldn't taste bad, it shouldn't taste grainy. So I feel I've done a lot of work that sets me up to do great things in January. So I said I might be lost for words on this podcast. It turns out that, as normal, I'm not lost for words. So far, I just hope that in me sharing some of the tough stuff that I've been through, whether you're going through something tough yourself, or you can go back to a point in your life where you feel you've gone through something tough, now reflect and think, am I coming out of it stronger? Or did I come out of it stronger? And can I come out of it stronger? 2017 tested me on so many levels, but I've now got so much clarity about what I want to achieve in 2018. I feel that 2018 is now my time. I feel that I've got my time back. I feel that I can create the things that I want to create with the people that I've got, with the amazing team that I've got, with that individual that said they were going to go and they didn't. I've got all those things. So there's also things that I've changed, and I want to tell you some of the other things that I haven't mentioned yet that I've changed that I feel is going to help me on my journey this year. So I think there was a period of a good 4, 5, 6 months in 2017 where I did struggle to train in the gym. Like, I didn't have as much focus, I didn't have as much purpose. So later later on in 2017, I got a coach. I made the decision that, right, I'm going to get a coach. It was also because I was going through an S&C course, strength and conditioning course, and I wanted to learn off someone who is a strength and conditioning coach how they were applying their trade. So I went to someone that I trust a lot, Andy McKenzie, who's been on this podcast once, maybe twice now before. And joined up to a 6-month program of his where we were going to work through body weight and core training, which is actually something I feel I'm very weak at. So again, it was me working on a weakness because I want to come from multiple levels of strength. It then goes through lots of other phases. But anyway, I now get given my training sessions. I get told what to do. I go in, I get the work done, I leave. So it also makes me time efficient. I don't have to think about that, which I actually don't want to have to think about anymore. I felt that my nutrition had taken a bit of a slip and that I wasn't getting enough really high quality sustenance on board. So I increased my order from Heat and Eat Lean, which is a meal prep company. So I now order some more meals from them, and I make sure I go shopping at the weekend and I buy a lot more fruit and veg that I can eat quickly. That doesn't have to be roasted and stuff like that, because I really value a massive fruit and veg intake. So it allows me to have, more green smoothies, more big salads, that kind of stuff, and then lots of fruit that I can just pick up and eat. Alongside that, I've committed to exercising less, but with more intensity, again, because I want more time. I also want to have the energy to give full intensity to my training session. So I would rather train 2 or 3 times a week, but allow and have that incredible intensity in that workout and not just drag my ass through the workout. And, if I don't have the energy that week, if I am very busy, then I don't train in the gym and I just play rugby, because that's the thing that I enjoy the most, with maybe, just like one gym session. But, my work and my personal life is more important than a workout in the gym. So if anything has to go first, it's my workout in the gym, because my body, my personal life and my business life is more important. A couple of months ago, I started to relook at my work environment, and I thought I'd done a half decent job, and I hadn't. I hadn't been brutal enough with a lot of the things that are in my environment. So along with the reflection that's happened over Christmas and some of the learnings that I've done and what it is I want to achieve and how I want my environment to look, I've spent the last day. So the day after Boxing Day, I said, right, today's for me. I'm going to repurpose everything in my environment. So I changed around my office. I moved things. I printed out things that I needed. I threw tons of stuff out, things that I hadn't used recently. I just threw it out. I threw out books, all sorts of stuff. Anything that wasn't serving a purpose in my life, couldn't bring me value, something that I didn't need, I threw it out, because I just don't want clutter. I don't want crap around me I just don't need. I want focus. I then drew up some more systems for my business. I've had a few great ideas I think really can help optimize my work environment and my team's work environment. I then said to myself that I'm now committed that the first 15 minutes of my day without fail is a period of time in my day where I look to build energy. So I can't guarantee that I'm going to wake up every day feeling amazing, 100% motivated, because there are days where I have to do things I don't particularly want to do. Like, they're not always the best jobs in the world. But if I allow myself to build up the energy to do that, then I'm going to do that. So either for the first 15 minutes of the day, take the dog on a walk, or I go in my gym and use a piece of cardio equipment and put something that I feel is motivational for me, and that's either a spoken word audiobook or podcast, or I put some music on that I find is high energy and motivational. But either way, I'm exercising. I'm building and bringing about energy in my body for the day. So coming back to the systems that I feel I've created in my business, I'm making sure that these systems are focused on what I want and must do in my business to take me forward, and nothing that I don't want to do. And as soon as I am doing something that I don't want to do, then I take stock, I learn how someone else can help me with it, or I can outsource it, or I can change it, or I can systemize it, or I can buy a piece of software, and I make sure that I'm not doing something that I don't want to do. And then I'm back to taking more time out. So 17 still saw me travel quite a bit, but it was always quite work related. I didn't go on as many holidays, and the reason why I like to go on a lot of holidays is I like to take that time to recharge my inspiration. And I find that if I go on holiday, I get a huge amount of incredible ideas. So going on holiday 4, 5, 6 times a year, even if it was to a weekend away in Cornwall, or I'm going away to somewhere in Europe, it's really important for me. And actually, it's the way that I like to spend my money. Like if I only had a couple of hundred quid available every month, I would put it towards going on holiday, because I value adventure. I want adventure. I want to do cool things. I want to see and try different foods and experience different cultures, because it gives me ideas. It gives me kind of width in my mind. So they're the things that I've changed in my environment, and I've promised to be brutal with myself, that as soon as something needs to change, I take the time in my business to change it, rather than say, I'll try and do it at the weekend, I'll try and do it here. Like, if this is connected to my mental well-being and my ability to move forward as a person, then I need to stop, do it straight away, implement it, and then get on with the day-to-day. Because after all, without that, everything else is going to be harder. Everything else is going to be a slog. And I don't want anything to be a slog. I want to continue to live the passion that I have for the fitness industry, to continue to serve other people and help other people and guide people with their nutrition, their personal development, their business, all that kind of stuff. So that leads me to tell you what I want in 2018, and you can think about what you want in 2018. And I'm also going to ask you that if you can help me, please help me. I need help like anyone. I will try and help you as much as possible, and if you can help me, then that would be incredible. If I look to other people for help all the time. I've got mentors that I look up to. There's people that I follow, because I need to take strength from other people as well. Everyone needs that. So if, as I talk through this, you can help me, reach out to me. It'd be amazing if we could connect and help one another. So the thing that really brings me alive in my work is public speaking. Is being on stage, or being in a gym, being in an environment where I've got an audience of people. And I can stand there and say, do you know what? Today I'm going to try and help you. And I want to get round to more gyms. I want to be at more events, whether they're fitness related or they're not fitness related. Like, I got the opportunity last month to go to Sky TV and do their well-being day. They have a well-being day once a month, and I got to go and speak to the whole of Sky about being awesome, about the steps that I take to try and be my best self every day. And that was an amazing experience. I'm so grateful for that. But in my job, that's where I feel alive. I feel alive in front of a group of people, knowing that I can try and help these people today. So if you own a gym, or if you know someone that owns a gym, if you know someone that runs an event, or you'd like me to speak at something else, I don't even mind traveling abroad. In fact, I love traveling abroad. Then I would love to speak at more and more events in 2018 and beyond, because it's something that I just love to do. It brings me alive. I've also committed myself to writing a minimum of 3 books this year. So in 2018, I'm going to be bringing out 3 books, again, to try and help, to serve, to provide, to inspire. And I love writing. I love turning off the world and just being able to get my thoughts down on paper, and knowing that those thought processes can help other people. That's really cool. And then otherwise, I'm committed to continuing to make awesome supplements a brand that I think can add clarity to the fitness industry. We have loads of trade accounts now, like we're in gyms, we're in loads of different cool places, and I want to continue to do that. Like, I genuinely think we're helping people battle through all the crap that's out there when it comes to supplementation. I don't know if you've heard yet, but we've just brought out a new pre-workout product. Again, our commitment to saying, you know what, there's lots of products out there that don't dose themselves properly. They don't have the ingredients in that they should do. They've got too much caffeine that's masking the effect of all the other crappy products that's in it that don't do anything. Again, bringing out that product was a commitment of us saying the industry isn't doing enough to provide a product of this nature, so we're going to do it. And it is a great product. It's flipping brilliant, and it tastes amazing. So, when it comes to awesome supplements, I'm committed to, bringing out what I feel is the best that we can do and serving people in the right kind of way when it comes to function and taste. If you know anyone that has a gym, or you think would like to maybe look at having awesome supplements in their environment, or if you've yet to try it, just go out on a limb, try what we're doing. I think we can serve people very well with what we're doing. And then after that, Body Type Nutrition, we've just finished redeveloping earlier on in 2017 our Foundation Academy, which is now delivered via an app. It's now got a 360-page textbook. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm really proud of it. And it's something that I'm going to grab by the horns and push into the global market space, because I want to inspire and help people as much as possible with nutrition. And having a product of this nature is amazing to help people understand nutrition and really get to grips with it. So that's my mission this more. I want to keep doing what I'm doing on social media. And I think actually all the things that I've tried to do on social media over the last year have not been as successful as they could have been, because I've had my attention taken elsewhere. But I feel my intention is 100% on my mission now. And I feel that my social media is going to get more creative. I'm going to get more outspoken about things. I'm really just going to keep doing, or be able to do, everything that I set out to do without any crap floating around in my business and my environment, this kind of, putting an anchor on that creativity and innovation. So I want you to expect great things from me in 2018, because I am expecting great things for myself. It's a decision I've made. I've been through a year of, to be frank, an awful lot of pain, and I don't want that again. I want a year of incredible success, and I want a year of incredible success serving and helping other people to realize their best self. And I just hope that this podcast has helped you think about what your best self is and how you're going to move yourself forward. If I can help you, I will help you. If you can help me, please do help me. We all need help. We are not all infallible. We're not all perfect. We don't all have it all figured out. And that's what this journey of life is about. It's about figuring things out. It's about being better. Anyway, I'm getting dry mouth, so I'm wrapping this thing up. I've no idea how long I've been rambling. Apologies if I've taken up too much of your time, but I just want to share this journey with you. I want to share what's happened, because I think you'll grow from it. I've grown from hearing the stories of other people, and I will continue to grow hearing the stories of other people, and you should do the same. If this podcast has helped you and you think it can help someone else, just please forward it on. Tag them in, my Instagram or something, or, send it to them on email. Just share this information and help more people than potentially just yourself and me, who's sitting here rattling away. Otherwise, next week I should be with a guest called Neil Martin, who's a guy who's lost an extraordinary amount of weight. If that show doesn't go live, it's because a week before Christmas my laptop blew up. Yep. Another awesome thing that happened to compound what had been a crappy year. I actually haven't listed off a ton of other things that happened, like having to sell my car to get money, like all sorts of stuff. But I don't want to skip over and, I don't want to, go into all the little details that just don't matter. I really want to just wrap up the key lessons that I felt have been garnered from 2017. And I think lastly, before I finish this podcast, I just want to thank my team. Getting through this last year has been made a lot easier with their support, with their belief of what we're doing. All the people that matter are still around, incredible people. No one's left, and that's been amazing, and we are stronger for it. We're more focused for it. My relationship is stronger and more focused for it. I'm more focused and strong as a result of it. And now I can't wait for 2018, and I hope you can't too. That's it from me. Have an awesome day, and I'll speak to you next week. Goodbye. Hey everyone, Ben Coomber Radio, episode number 292.